to Matrix 4, The Reboot. Matrix Rebooted? Matrix Resurrections, whatever it's called. This film has its entire plot leaked now. I am not going to be going into the entire plot leak. I'm going to be going over just the just the actual plot of the movie. So not step by step, not what happens, no major spoilers and reveals. It's just the overview. It's kind of what they would release. Synopsis, I guess you could say. That's what I'm going to be covering today. It's still not information which Warner Brothers will probably want out there. And I hope they choose not to copyright strike this video, because they have done other people. So there's a guy called World of Geekdom who has... He did the entire movie, which is questionable. Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it's not surprising that Warner Brothers then came and was like, yeah, no, we're going to copyright strike you, which is actually what they did here. Warner Brothers is mad that I got the legit Matrix 4 plot leak, so they took my video down. Problem is, it violates no copyright. Warner Brothers abusing the YouTube copyright system again. Yeah, it is a copyright abuse. However, telling everyone the entire movie, regardless of whether it breaks copyright or not smart. Now, I'm not saying that means he's owed this copyright strike, and I will say, actually, this copyright strike reveals that it is legitimate. It does reveal it's legitimate. I've had copyright strikes from Warner Brothers in the past when they specifically want to silence you on their big tentpole properties. So I discussed Godzilla vs. Kong. Boom. Copyright strikes. I literally had to have a discussion with a Warner Brothers lawyer, you know, one of their legal department, and be like, what's going on here? Why are you doing this? And they were like, well, we'll remove the strike if you take the video down. And that was the only agreement I could come to with them. Otherwise, they were just going to keep the strike. And they know that having to go through the system, that they could literally just push and push and push until the very last minute. So, you know, this does, to me, confirm that it is true. Godzilla vs. Kong stuff turned out to be true. Anyway, Warner Brothers seldom acts so harshly on stuff, unless it's a tentpole property and it's something which is completely legitimate. So take this with a pinch of salt. We're going to be just discussing the plot synopsis. We're not going to be discussing the whole step-by-step, play-by-play plot, everything which this guy did, which got himself a copyright strike. Take it with a pinch of salt, but it is legit, I would say, based on this as a reaction. You know, this is not something that they do lightly. Now, we know this, we know all of this, in fact, because Viewer Anon has revealed the title, The Matrix Resurrections, which was already revealed anyway. In fact, I did a live stream on it, I think, with Andre from Midnight's Edge, and we were discussing it. They, like, members of the cast had accidentally revealed that in, like, hashtags and bloody merchandise that they had. But anyway, there was a screening this afternoon, and it is weird, meta. Oh boy, is it meta. Engrossing, surprisingly funny, and ambitious to a fault. I expect word of mouth to be wildly mixed, but the people who love it will love it. This is definitely the work of Cloud Atlas, Lana Wachowski, not Jupiter Ascending, Lana Wachowski. I.e., it's a little bit better than Jupiter Ascending. He's not saying it's good, basically. He's just saying, hey, look, yeah, there was a screening. This is the general feedback. She's on relative form, I guess you could say. Now then, let's discuss a little bit of what happens. Just a wee little bit of the plot synopses. So, it is called Matrix Resurrections, and interestingly enough, they have chosen to completely reboot the system, I guess you could say. Rebooting the Matrix overall. Now, in terms of how this is done, don't know. The video got taken down before I could discuss it. I discussed this with Andy Signor instead, and got his sort of his brief overview on it. The meta stuff comes from Keanu Reeves being quite literally, he is Neo. He is Neo. Somehow he's back in the Matrix. He doesn't know who he is. He's getting PTSD flashbacks though, and he sees Neil Patrick Harris's character. I think they're called the Analyst or something like that. He's a therapist, but he's also a villain of the film as well, apparently. And he is he's taking notes. I assume he's actually a program watching Neo to make sure he stays under. I would imagine that's what it is. A form of an agent, I guess you could say. But Keanu Reeves' Neo character works for Warner Brothers, a gaming company, and the first 3 Matrix films are a trilogy of games. Yeah. So I don't understand how he's getting PTSD flashbacks whilst he's obviously playing. He's a games developer and he's playing these games. It's like surely you'd just be like, no, I'm just having some weird nightmares of playing a game. I don't get it. I don't like that as meta. And I long said Matrix 4 is one of the perfect properties to literally do a reboot on. But this is a weird way of doing a reboot. Keanu, Neo's just alive again randomly. It does make his sacrifice to the machines somewhat null and void. They could have handled this a bit better. I think that this will divide people. It'll be you either love it or you hate it situation. For me, I think it's a wasted opportunity to do something a bit better. Yahya is playing a younger Morpheus, a new, different Morpheus, because he's dead. This is set 60 years after the original trilogy. Jessica Henwick is playing a character who's a female lead. She is aware of what's going on. She knows who Neo is, and she's trying to get him woken up again, basically. It's essentially the first movie again. Carrie-Anne Moss is alive. Trinity somehow is alive. It's weird because all the people that were dead are alive, and all the people that were alive are now dead. Very strange, but apparently the action is superb. The action is fantastic, very memorable, in fact, apparently. There's a fantastic ending sequence, which I'm not going to reveal too much, but let's just say one character has powers and you would go, of course they do, basically. Have, Neo-like powers. So Neo is still the one, apparently. Jessica Henwick isn't the one. As far as I can tell, it's going to be divisive. I don't know whether I like it. All of this will absolutely depend on the execution. If it's executed like the first movie, yes, I think this could be really good. I actually think this could be really, really good. If it's executed like the other 2 movies, questionable. I think it could fall flat on its face. Now, I took some snippets from an article, just briefly. So, according to Geekdom, The Matrix has been updated since the last film and takes place 60 years after Revolutions. There are loads of self-referential jokes about the movie reboots, and this in itself is a bit of a soft reboot to the series. So again, that sort of trilogy of games. Weird. I don't like it when they hang a lantern on it. Not to that degree. It's too much. The film begins very similarly to the first movie with agents chasing down a character called Bugs, played by Jessica Henwick. Apparently, Morpheus is now an agent, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen, but is a bootleg copy of the original Morpheus, who's now dead. And when Neo updated The Matrix, he created the copy of Morpheus, but that copy of the Morpheus is still an agent. I'm confused with that. I don't really understand that. That doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense to me. Why would Neo create a villain agent to go back into The Matrix to work against him? Why would he make it in Morpheus's image? Weird. Really weird. Neil Patrick Harris plays a villain called the Analyst and is also Neo's therapist. Neo is alive and has flashbacks to the events of the other films while forgetting who he actually is, but whilst also working as a games developer for Warner Brothers, who have made games of the trilogy of the films. I don't get that. Wouldn't you just go, I've just played the games, I'm having weird nightmares? That part doesn't make any sense. But the plot is essentially the first movie. Neo trying to reconnect with the Matrix, but also Trinity, who apparently is still alive, and he needs to become the one once more. And then a twist ending, which I can't reveal. A side note, I actually did reveal it by accident. I've had to go back and edit this video again, because I'm an idiot. So anyway, let me know what you think. I think this will all depend on the execution. Cheers there, guys. Take care.